Now, I put out a video earlier today about XRP coin reaching $100 per coin and how it's just getting started. I love the fact that XRP, is worth where it is right now, and it was able to grow a decent amount. But again, you always have that mindset for people that are invested in XRP. It's a "what have you done for me lately" type of situation. Yes, you may have gained from 50 cents up to $2 or $3, but what are you doing for me lately? And then even the people that invested at $2, right? You guys are looking for the same gains that we got, but obviously you're not going to be able to get the same level of gains because we picked up more XRP, was able to obtain more, right? But it's always a "what have you done for me lately" situation. But in that video, you have some comments that are alluding to, again, XRP not reaching $100 per coin, right? Not reaching a level of even $50 or $25, and how the level that it's getting to is $9 or $10, right? Which, again, it's okay for you guys to have your opinion. You can have your opinion. I have my own opinion. I'm not going to fight your opinion. But, when you say things like everything that you're thinking about here is stupid, and it's just not something that really even comes into play when you talk about this price prediction, when you talk about where XRP is going and the future of crypto. That's where you can't say that these things don't matter and these things won't happen, because I've had people say those same things where they said XRP is not going to be a reserve currency, and now we have information to where it is, and those same people that said those things, they are nowhere to be found. Or if they are, they're completely ignoring the question, completely ignoring what just happened and what they've said in the past. And maybe they forgot. I don't know, because it was a while ago, and I do put out a decent amount of XRP videos. But I see the comments. It's interesting to me to always see that and never see like a full response there. But the reason why I'm bringing this video to you is to kind of talk about that prediction. Not only my prediction, but kind of talk about some experts' prediction. So leaving mine a little bit off the table, because you already know exactly where I'm going. Where do the experts see XRP going? And, what's the reasoning behind it? So guys, if you could, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more of these videos. Also, make sure you check out my link for BTCC down below. The link to BTCC is at the top of the description. You can get a 10% deposit bonus, as well as extra bonuses up to $10,000, 40% lower trading fees, as well as seeing the ability to trade at a 500x leverage if you want to, especially with XRP. If you see an opportunity to buy in at a very low point, a 500% or 500x leverage would be good if you can find a way to benefit from it in the long term. However, or in the short term as well as long term. However, it is very risky to say, I want to put $1,000 in a 500x leverage. It is very easy for you to lose everything that you invested with a 500x leverage, because there's so much room for error, right? There's so little room for error where if it drops down 1%, less than 1%, you lose everything that you invested in there. So you have to be right from the moment you say go, and this is at the lowest level. You have to be right from there on out. So make sure that you are understanding this risk as you are making these investments. What's crazy is the 500x leverage, you have to be wrong by about 0.5%, and then you lose everything. I've invested 4 times with 500x leverages, and I've made money every single time. And I can guarantee you that I struggle picking the bottom of the market. I'm picking the bottom of that position. I struggle with it, but I still was able to do it because I found a place to catch my initial investment as well as profit. And then if it did come back down to get liquidated, I still made money out of the deal. There's been times where I've made a $700, $800 off of a $100 trade. But again, that's kind of the exception, not the rule. So anyways, feel free to check it out. Link is in the description, at the top of the description. Now, XRP currently stands at $2.48. It's at a $144 billion market cap with, again, about $11 billion worth of volume. So the movement and volume has been great. We've seen that it did skyrocket kind of from a $2.30 mark up to $2.60 ish. We expect to see a lot more as time goes on, but right now, again, it's still not altcoin season, right? If we look over here, Bitcoin dominance is still at 60%. So we're not truly worried about the fact that it hasn't skyrocketed to $5 off of the news that we got. Some people are, but I'm not, because it's not altcoin season. It's going to play catch up to the market very, very quickly. But what we're here for is the predictions, right? I gave out my predictions of where I believe XRP is going, what it's going to be worth, and all that stuff here. But I wanted to go through exactly where the XRP predictions are based on this article, right? So here are XRP price predictions from top crypto executives forecasting XRP to reach $5 to $1,000. That's a large range, right? And you have many people that believe different things, right? My majority of mine is, again, around $100, but then you also see the levels that it can get to above that, right? The CEO of B2Bin Pay is optimistic about XRP's trajectory. He forecasted a price range of $5 to $7 in the first half of 2025. He attributes this expected surge to XRP's strong post-election momentum and Ripple's strides in becoming a key player in the global payment industry. Now, I agree with that, right? The reason why I agree with that being a major portion of it is because you see all the different things that are in place. But again, you don't see that push because we're not in altcoin season yet. We're still in a time period to where cryptocurrency is still seeing the effects of like the beginning of the year, which typically you see around tax season. After tax season, the end of April, May-ish time period, you typically see things that end up running. What happened in the last push and fall, we see all of those moves in May or June or July as we approach summer. Right? Then you have an analyst at XTB provides a broader range of predictions for XRP. He suggested that prices could reach anywhere between $100 and a more conservative $5. That is a large range. He points to regulatory easing under the potential Trump administration and Ripple's advancements in cross-border payments as reasons behind the optimistic forecast. Ryan Lee of BitGet Research offers more moderate outlook. Lee expects XRP's price to range from $1.80 to $8.40, while some optimistic projections push it above $10. He notes that these projections hinge on increasing adoption and the resolution of ongoing regulatory hurdles. XRP to overtake Ethereum. Now, I truly believe that that's the case, right? They're going to overtake Ethereum, not only overtake Ethereum, but overtake Bitcoin. And what would be better is if it overtakes Ethereum while Ethereum is in that top spot. Because I don't think, I think Ethereum will be worth more than Bitcoin as well. He stated that XRP could surpass Ethereum to become the second largest cryptocurrency. Dean expresses confidence that the SEC will approve the XRP ETFs following the success of Bitcoin ETFs, which could fuel further price growth. Forecasts other crypto executives, right? The CEO of Tokentus Investment AG takes a more aggressive stance as he suggests XRP could surge over 2,000%, potentially surpassing 10 this year. Am I saying Michael? I think I said Michael. Mitchell. That's probably what it is. Draws from historic patterns noted in XRP's 4,300% rise in 2017, and even more remarkable 39,700% spike to its all-time high, hoping for a possible repeat of such gains in this cycle. So the founder of Alpha Lines Academy compares XRP to Bitcoin's early days, predicting that that $20 could be just the beginning. Farina highlights how early BTC investors may regret selling at $500 when Bitcoin surpassed 100K, suggesting that XRP's true potential lies well beyond its current estimates. And that's something that I do believe as well. I think there's a lot more left on the table that people just don't understand and they're not seeing right now because it's not in front of their eyes. People want to see, and they want to believe what they're seeing, right? It's not about believing what the future can hold. I like to look at the future, but I also like to prepare for what the worst and best case scenarios will be, right? So Matthew, COO of Crypto Charged, offered a long-term forecast. He argued that XRP could reach anywhere between $100 and $1,000 within the next 5 to 10 years. His optimism stems from XRP's role in remittance services, providing fast, low-cost global money transfers, which could drive its future market value. So in the end, you have experts, you have executives, you have people that have been doing this for a long time that see these prices at much higher levels, right? Seeing these at levels that some other people will say is ridiculous, right? It's done where it's at, but there's so much left on the table. And as I go through these predictions, this is the reason why I make my my exit plan the way that it is. It gets to a level of $5, a $285 billion market cap. It doesn't mean that I need to sell everything, which would be worth $1 million at that point. I could just sell a quarter of it and get $250,000. Be able to take my initial investment off the table, which is absolutely fantastic to have my initial investment. And then I can continue to take more and more as time goes on. I can take the 30,000 here. I can take 35, 40,000. And you see the levels that it get to, right? Let's say it only gets to $8.50. It gets to $8.50. That is, let me go back here. It's, here, let's go there. It's at $355,000 that I'm able to gain from that. And if it only gets to this point, it's worth 1.2. So I can take all of that if need be, if it only gets to that point. So I'm preparing for what the worst case situations are as well as the best case situation. As it gets to $20, which is my target for more of a short term play, and then as you get more into long-term plays, you have so much more. I can be able to gain a total of $5.5 million. In the end, I still will have the ability to gain even more. I could take $1 million out here, $1.5 million, $2 million, $2.5 million, $3 million, whatever, as I see it go forward, so that I can pocket even more in the end and be able to fund our lives forever, right? So this is why I prepare for the worst and best. But those are the predictions. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know your opinion down below. Do you see this as, what's your optimistic number? Your maybe what some people would consider unrealistic number, but you have a realistic high as well as a realistic low. What are your numbers that you see it getting to? And what are you preparing for as you are holding it? So guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more of these videos. Check out my links down below for BTCC, Patreon, and Twitter. But like I said, I'm going to get out of here and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.